Good morning, everybody, and welcome, and thank you for joining us on the webinar, How to Stay Visible in Troubled Times with Jill Lublin. Excuse me. My name is Mary Beth, and I'm Jill's assistant, and I'm here to help support Jill and you today on the webinar. Excuse me. First, allow me to introduce Jill. Jill Lublin is an international speaker on the topics of radical influence, publicity, networking, kindness, and referrals. She is the author of 4 best-selling books, including Get Noticed, Get Referrals, Guerrilla Publicity, and Networking Magic. Her latest book, The Profit of Kindness, went #1 in 4 categories. Jill is a master strategist on how to position your business for more profitability and more visibility in the marketplace. She is the CEO of a strategic consulting firm and has over 25 years experience working with well over 100,000 people, plus the national and international media. Jill teaches her publicity crash course as both live, when time will allow again, and virtual classes, and she consults and speaks all over the world. She also helps authors to create book deals with major publishers and agents, as well as to obtain foreign rights deals. So without further ado, everyone, please welcome Jill Lublin.
Thank you so much, Mary Beth, and welcome to all of you. So glad to have you on with me today. My intention and purpose with you today is to support you with some great publicity tools. I'm going to go through some presentation. I'm also going to work with you, and I want to have the opportunity to actually connect to you and answer some questions. So please just know that's my purpose and intention today, to give you lots of great advice and support you with that visibility building factor, because here's what I know about the power of publicity. You know, in this time, and frankly any other time, the power of publicity is what drives your business to escalate prospects and bring people back to you. It enables you to get your message out. And you know what's interesting? Let me just share in this time is that so many of my clients have been able to pivot. In my publicity courses, I support people to create a message that matters and connects to the audience you want. And let me just say to you, and I hope that you hear this today as we go through some of the main points, that it's really about creating a garden. I want you to create a publicity garden and grow your publicity. What do I mean by that? I mean that your publicity grows continuously, ongoingly. Your publicity grows and blooms in different times. The truth is that you're looking ahead, get this, 3, 6, and 9 months ahead. 3, 6, and 9 months ahead. So with that, what I want you to do is think about what will support you to create an ongoing visibility campaign, you know, and what I want to say is that the things we speak of today, and those of you, will present the opportunity to come into my course toward the end. And let me just say, what I'm seeing is those people who are positioning your publicity correctly, done the right way in today's times, there is tremendous opportunity to create more visibility. And what I want for you is to be the messengers that you are. And great news for all of you is that I'm a messenger of messengers. So I want to give you, let me just show you the context for what's publicity. And what's publicity? Mary Beth, go ahead to the first slide. I want to show them what's publicity. First of all, I want to tell you, 25 years I've been in this business, and I will share with you that publicity brings you high ROI, right? High and big return on investment. My friend P.T. Barnum said it best, and that is, a terrible thing happens without publicity. Nothing. So those of you who do nothing will, you know, not have much to return and show for what you do. And for years, I've worked with all kinds of industries and all kinds of entrepreneurs, both large and small, speakers, authors, consultants, coaches. You know, I was brought into Philips Corporation to work with the CEO and director of marketing, because this is for whether you're a solopreneur and a coach, which I work with many, or, you know, into a larger company. The truth is, it's all about your message and bringing and using publicity locally, nationally, blogs, podcasts. You know, the truth is publicity happens from the minute you walk out your door. What I do know is the high return on investment it brings back to you in prospects, in coaching. And so let me show you what publicity does. It gives you increased prospects. It gives you more sales. It gives you more trust in the marketplace. And how about more credibility? Everybody needs that, right? Which leads to more visibility and leads to more clients. You got to have clients to keep your business running. And again, I know people in these troubled times that are having better business than ever. And then if you're working to create that, then what you want to do is create that visibility factor so that you have more attraction and more people are coming to you. More money, right? Because that's what clients and visibility equals, is more money. And you get more exposure in the marketplace. And I only mean the good kind. So I want to give you a great formula right off the bat for how to get your publicity out there. It's really all about your message. Check that word out, message. Isn't it interesting that in the word message is me? First two letters. In the word message is me. In the word message is sage. And I will say to you that what I created, and this is going to sound wonderfully simple, because you know the thing about knowing what to offer people is having it and making it simple. Think about when you go to a play or you watch a ballet or you see some kind of music concert. They make things look really simple, don't they? What you don't see is all the years of practice and the flow and the rehearsals and all of the things. I remember in my last virtual course, this man said, you know, this is going so beautifully and really bringing together so much information. How are you doing this? And I held up my notes and I showed him, you know, all the publicity course notes and the hours that Mary Beth and I had worked to put together something that flows appropriately in a virtual space for all of my clients. And they're loving it. And, you know, so here's what you've got to say to people. You've got to give people the problem today. And so, you know, in some of your cases, it might be what you do. And in other of your cases, you're going to switch your message. One of my clients recently, she's a relationship expert. She wrote a self-published book. And what I'm having her doing is being the quarantine Cupid, and then talking about how do you connect and have good relationship in troubled times, right? And so that is the very, very wonderful message that got her recently on WGN in Chicago, multiple Fox News. And what she's doing is taking what's going on now. Like, how can you take what's going on now? I have a business consultant who was recently in my publicity course, and just sort of an offhand comment, she goes, you know, I know how to do publicity consulting. What I don't know how to do, Jill, is math. And she goes, and you know, I have this kid and I'm supposed to teach him math and homeschool him. I don't know math. And I thought that was so great, because that's the problem today. You know, as a working mom, what does she know about math? Or as a business consultant, right? Math is not her specialty. So how do you raise kids in these times when you don't know math? Or you haven't been to school in 12 or 20 years, or whatever it is, right? And so that's an interesting story. So take a look inside of your main message and see what's the problem today. And then I want you to give people 3 solutions. Why 3? Because I find in years of working in podcasts and blogs and media and Fox TV and news networks all over the place, what I've noticed is that 3 solutions works really well. It's very simple. And I want you to keep everything in 5-year-old language. Now, I want to share one other thing about the power of publicity, because I'm going to show you something. One of the things Mary Beth told you is that I help people get book deals without a word written. So Mary Beth, let me know. I hope that you can see this. And this is my client, Susie Carter. She wrote a fabulous book called Power Your Profits. It's actually not out yet. It's coming out on Simon & Schuster within about 2 months. This is actually what the book looks like, and my pre-welcome package for helping her out. And let me just share with you, Susie did not have a word of this written when she actually hired me to go pitch her to publishers and agents to get her a book deal. Now, I'm going to tell you something. The reason Susie got this book deal, and it's a deal with Simon & Schuster, over 6 figures, my friends. In today's market, that's almost unheard of. Why did she do that? Because she's got great visibility, because she's got great publicity. Publicity equals influence. Influence equals, whether it's a book deal, in her case, that's what she wanted, right? Or if it's marketplace exposure for you. This is another one. And let me just share with you again, neither one of these books were written before they got taken. This is another one that was a yes from Simon & Schuster. This man, Adam Markell, fabulous guy, actually used to run T. Harv Eker's events, if you're familiar with any of them. And again, not a word written when Pivot got written. And I want to also tell you, these 2 books I just showed you were not the same title when we approached the publisher. So that's just an inside scoop. Why? Because the publisher does what the publisher needs to do. But the reason, and this book ended up in airport bookstores, I know that Suzys will too. It ended up on the Wall Street Journal list and USA Today bestseller list, and took Adam's speaking career to a whole next level. And the reason that happened is exposure, influence, visibility, and publicity. And the reason publishers said yes to him, and yes to Susie, and yes to so many of my other clients, both large and small. One woman wrote a book on her opioid addiction, right? And I had a recovery press that loved that story because they knew she would go out promoting, speaking, creating influence. And I will tell you, your visibility factor is what's going to create, whether, again, you know, maybe in some of your cases, you don't need a book right now or don't want a book right now, no problem. What I want you to have, though, is clients, visibility, name recognition, and what I like to call the "I've heard of you somewhere" syndrome. Now, let me just share with you that this can be created by what I like to call, and Mary Beth, go ahead to the slide on, I like you to create what I like to call your ooh, ah factor. Your ooh, ah factor. And we spelled it out for you just in case you can't. And that is to use, go ahead to the next slide, everything you've got. You have to use everything you've got. What do I mean by that? I mean that you've got to use all aspects of who you are and what's going on. So, for instance, will you see this slide up? In The Profit of Kindness, as much, that's actually my 4th book. And as much as I'd love to say, ooh, I'm so excited, I wrote another book, and that's what got me a ton of press, actually what got me 7, in this case, Fox News interviews, CBS News morning shows, what got me over 75 radio and podcasts and counting, in Inc. magazine twice, in Forbes magazine twice, CEO Selling Power, and literally all throughout the United States, Iran, Australia. I've been on the front cover in Australian magazine, and actually in the slide, you can see some of the press we got. And check out profitofkindness.com for more. But I will tell you that a lot of that came from finding the right message. So what do I mean by that? I mean that, you know, when the book came out, I do what I do with everyone. It's like, what's the message here? What's the power of the message? And so with that, what I found and what I realized was that we have a divided states of America. And, you know, as much as I'd love to say, this is, you know, this is not great news. It continues, as we know, to be intense news. Do you think that kindness is the order of the day right now? Oh, yes, it is. And so as we look to what can work in a time that makes sense, that moves people, I want you to think about what can work for your message, what can work for the power of what you offer. And your message is what matters. Your message is what matters. So I want to just come back for a moment to you, and then I'm going to show you some other things, one of my clients, Ryan, et cetera, and just see what's popping for you. Go ahead, tell me what's coming up. You can just raise your hand. You can raise your hand on the chat. let's see what's on your mind and what's coming up for you as I'm talking. And I recognize some wonderful faces here. Welcome, everybody. Ilya, please go ahead.
Oh, hello, everybody. Hello, Jill. Thank you for holding this webinar. I run my online marketing company, and a lot of my clients are local, so there was a bit of a slowdown in business. I still didn't want to fire any of my staff, so I've had them set up a website, helpeachothertoday.com, which essentially connects people who need help with people who can help in their area. And I've put it on the social media. I've put it on Google. A solid number of people registered, about 1,000 people right now. But I definitely need more people, especially they need to be in the same area so more of them can help each other. So would be great to get more publicity for something like that. And I've reached out to media outlets and influencers and celebrities and things like that. And I did get a little bit of coverage, but definitely can use a lot more to essentially get more people to it. The more people there, the more of them can help each other.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ilya. So a couple things. One is, first of all, congratulations on any coverage. And what I want you to do is leverage. The word right now, my friends, is leverage. Everything's about leverage. And so anything you did get, you want to create next step with. You want to let other reporters, producers of shows know what you got. You want to go into podcasts and blogs and give people real things of what they can do, you know? So I think what you want to be looking at is always taking a next step and leveraging everything you do. And then for a lot of you, remember, it's not about, ooh, I do this, I do this. I call that beat my chest publicity, right? You got to be giving people real content, real value, and go out with that message. I showed you, it wasn't about my book, you know, The Profit of Kindness, as much as I'd love to say, yay, woo, I got a book. That's not the message. The message is the divisiveness. The message is the problem with kindness today. So I want to put that out there. Let me take another question. Anyone else? Okay, I see two. I see Michelle. Go for it.
Michelle, you're on mute.
Okay, sorry about that. I have a message of my business message is uplifting humanity one soul at a time. And lately I've been saying uplifting the vibration of our planet. And it's a very new agey woo-woo message. And yet it works for everything, because look at what's going on today. I mean, boy, do we need uplifting. And we definitely need to raise the vibration of humanity, because people are so down and worried and scared and living in fear. And yet, although it's the truth, I'm not always clear on how to, I mean, if that's the message, then how to create a solution, because I'm so used to working with people one-on-one. And doing groups, I'm not clear on how to translate it to a bigger level. I've been staying at the same level for quite a while, and I'm not sure how to amp that up.
Sure. Thank you, Michelle. And I know your beautiful work, because I've participated in your beautiful sound bowls, healings, and all kinds of great things. In fact, Michelle, put in the chat how people can listen. She just has this beautiful sound bowl healings she does that are very relaxing for the system.
Okay.
But you know what I want to, you're welcome. And what I want to say is that, again, it takes a shift, you know, like my health coaches are talking about how to be healthier in today's times. My stress coaches, which, Michelle, I'd probably put you a little bit more in that category in health. You know, how do you stay less stressed? And you can't tell people play crystal balls, but you can tell them some simple, easy things that they could do, right? So here's the thing for everyone. I want you to keep your message really simple, make it in 5-year-old language, and keep it consistent. That's the word. Consistent and persistent. Now, Deborah, I saw you had a question. Oh, Deborah, can you hear me?
Yes.
There you go. I think you had a question. Go ahead, take yourself off mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
you can.
can.
You can? Okay. Yeah, I just want to say that it's very interesting what you said about using all of who I am, because that would make everybody unique. I mean, if you used all of who you are, everything would be different. Everything in the same category would be different. It would just be a very creative experience. So I'm gonna think about that. I mean, I already started with that,
Yay!
but it's just hearing you say that reinforces it very well.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You know, use everything you've got. Let me just share with you, and thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. Mary Beth, I want to show you about Ryan. If you could show Ryan's slide, because Ryan is a client of mine who actually I worked with in a full-on PR capacity. And one of the things he said to me, he said, I'm an instructional designer. Go ahead, Deborah, mute yourself if you'd be so kind. He said, I'm an instructional designer. And I'm like, well, what's that? And then he told me, and I'm like, no offense, that's just not interesting, Ryan. And I do what I do with everyone, which is what's the story in the story? And I discovered that Ryan, well, he had been fired from his job, downsized. Now we got this problem today again, don't we? He had a pregnant wife with their third child on the way, and he'd just bought a big house in Northern California, which means a big mortgage payment, a big wife with 2 kids already there and 1 on the way. And I'm like, Ryan, what'd you do? He said, well, I started my own company, and online within 24 hours, he had 7 people working virtually. I thought, Ryan, that's interesting. So I recreated his story into what I called him a virtual office warrior. Think of the acronym for that. Ryan took a vow never to work in an office again. Do you know that story got him on the front page, check this out, of the San Francisco Business Times? Look at the headline there. The headline on that slide says, when fired, you too can vow not to work in an office again. Isn't that interesting? Let me show you what else we got. We got the Mac Home Journal. We got Entrepreneur Magazine. We got all kinds of places and spaces that, can you imagine what it would be for you to get into any of these kinds of PR? This is one guy who frankly didn't have many clients when he came to me, but knew the power of what doing publicity would create for him, which it did. And let me show you some of his PR results. He actually got featured in major national magazines and newspapers and podcasts and blogs continuously. His business revenues increased over 40% using publicity marketing strategies. And on top of that, you know, I told you to use everything you've got, right? On top of that, one placement in the Chinese Times, right? One placement in the Chinese Times resulted in over $7,000 in consulting income from just one article. Literally, Ryan launched his business from zero to thriving using the power of publicity. And so, you know, to me, that is what's so powerful, that we want to connect. We want to tell people continuously, here's what's in it for you. We didn't say, oh, Ryan's got a powerful publicity business. Oh, how exciting. You know, it was all about creating that visibility factor that got him more enhanced publicity. And I really want you to keep hearing that, because that's so important for growing your publicity garden. And I'm going to say to you, and I want you to keep thinking about, Deborah said, you know, yes, I'm going to really look at this. How is this applying to me? How it applies to you is what's important for what your message is and how it can land and how you can switch it. You know, I have a financial planner, for instance, and we switched his message to, well, the fact is, not so much on the financial planning. It was really about the fact that his wife had breast cancer. He didn't know what to do about it. So he started looking around, doing research. He ended up writing something called A Guy's Guide to Breast Cancer. That got him into October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, talking about that. That's use everything you've got. A Pakistani man recently in my virtual publicity course, where we were going deep on this, he goes, oh my gosh, I'm Pakistani. I've never used this before. Maybe I should start using this, he said. Yes, I said, you want to create ongoing connection, right? He Googled in the LA area where he lives, there were 5 Pakistani newsletters. He got in 3 of them using my particular publicity and visibility tactics. And you know, his exposure factor increased to over 40,000 people. Now that's powerful, my friends. That's what I'm looking for that for you. So here's the thing, and Mary Beth, go ahead to the next slide, because what I want you to just say yes. That no matter what the media asks you, I want you to just say yes. You know, it's interesting. I have a wonderful woman. She's actually a full-on PR client. She started in my publicity course. And one of the things that she is a legislative support person who does all kinds of legislative pieces. And she's been an advocate for a long time. She got a call from the LA Times. You know what's so fascinating to me? She told me later with a bit of a sheepish look in her eyes, she goes, Jill, when the LA Times called me, I said, you know what, let me refer you, because she actually lived in the Bay Area. She didn't think she knew the answer if it were something around LA. And I did my, oh boy, we just say yes, right? And so she got it. And she told me, like, no kidding, 48 hours later, another reporter called her from the LA Times asking for another source because she's known in this particular niche. And she said, oh, I heard you say, just say yes, just say yes. So I did. And that got her into the LA Times. You know, I have a woman, she was in my course when I did it live in LA. I'm now doing them all virtual. And she is a speaker, and she's a trainer, and she helps people, teams particularly, with food, and particularly building teamwork through food preparation. Now, she went through my course. She'd been trained by me. She knew the right things to do in the right order. And one of the things that happened right afterwards, because see, I know that when you get intentional about PR, magic and miracles happen. Meaning even just saying yes to that gets things coming into you that might come from a whole nother place, right? But all of a sudden opportunities open up because you've said yes to you. And she said NBC Nightly News called her. Why? Because they were working on a story for Valentine's Day. It was a cooking story, an aphrodisiac cooking story. And what they did was they wanted her. They did a search. They found her. They said, we'd love to feature you doing aphrodisiac cooking. She was so cute. She goes, Jill, I don't know what aphrodisiac cooking is. I don't know a recipe for it, but I've been trained by you and I know to just say yes. She said literally as the producer was asking her, could she do this? Her voice wanted to say no. The back of her head heard me say yes, yes, yes. And out her mouth, it was a miracle. It was a blessing for her, said yes. She got a 4-minute and 20-second segment on NBC Nightly News. Can you imagine how powerful that is? Picture this, walking into any kind of, whether it's a consulting opportunity, an interview, it's sending your segments along to somebody who's considering you. NBC Nightly News, that's all you have to say. It's powerful. It's connected. And that's what I want for you, is the opportunity to know how to serve your people, how to shift your message powerfully, connectedly, so that your message matters and that you keep taking it forward in a way that's really simple. So I want to show you an opportunity to work with me, and then I'll come back and I'll take some questions from you. My course, my publicity course, went virtual. It is a no-nonsense, get it done, one-day class. When I say one day, about 6 hours. We're doing personalized small groups. We'll craft your message, write a press release, create bios. Literally, I'm going to spill all the secrets that most PR people would never tell you and tell you exactly how to get your PR done. Plus, you're going to have lots of small group interaction, and you're going to be strategically planning your publicity campaign so it gets done. Literally 3 documents in one day and 4 templates that you can use ongoingly for the life of your business. And you know, what I want to say is I see people go round and round in circles and not know how to do their publicity. I'm going to have you not only understand how to do your publicity, but we're going to do at least the first most important go for it crack at it. And I'm going to create your publicity and your campaign so that your message matters, so that you can speak it well, so that you can create more prospects and know what to say when you network, when you prospect in social media. All kinds of places is where you'll be able to use everything we do in the course. And I will tell you, if you went to publicitycrashcourse.com, you would see the course is $12.97. I am in this moment completely shifting everything I've been offering, and I am doing, I call it pandemic pricing. It's $197. And I will tell you what a great opportunity that is to work with me in a small group in a way that gets your publicity done. And how you do that is you go to publicitycrashcourse.com/registration. Please write this down or go do it now, because I'm doing pandemic pricing, my friends. And frankly, I'm not quite sure how much longer I'm going to do it for, but what I do want to do is help so many really get your message out. What you do is you put in the code Stay Visible. It's case sensitive, all one word. You can pick any date. We've got them coming right up for you. And let's get your publicity done at a reasonable rate that rocks your world and gets your message out, because you deserve to get your message out, and your message is important. All right, so that's that piece. Let's come on back, and I know Mary Beth put it in the chat too. Would love to have all of you. That code will be good for 48 hours at least. And I would welcome you to come in with me. Marjorie, you're on, I see you on, and I know Marjorie actually took the course. Do you want to just say a quick little something before I take some questions from others?
I will be glad to say something. It was wonderful. I'm an inveterate note taker. And so I have 4 pages single-spaced type notes of all the wonderful stuff that Jill shared. And the thing that I liked about it is the way she organized it was kind of cumulative. There was this first thing, and then the second thing, and then the third thing, and then you put it all together, and it made sense. You know, sometimes you take courses and people wander all over the place, and you're trying to organize the information in your mind, and it just isn't there. And with Jill's stuff, it makes eminently good sense. And so when I heard you were speaking again, I had to listen, of course. So here I am. You're muted.
Oops, I'm muted. Whoa. So thank you for that very kind testimonial. And she didn't know I was going to ask her, so that's very from the heart. And I truly appreciate you being here.
If a communication confidence coach can't come up with something to say off the cuff, I'm in the wrong business.
Well, I am glad you're here, and thank you. Now, I'd like to turn it back to a few of you and see if you have any other questions and how I might be able to help you, and excited to support you. We'll take about maybe 10 minutes in questions, and let's see how I can help you. Who's got a question? Or even a comment, or you want to add something to what we said, or there's a way that I can support you?
I will add to what Marjorie just said, and that is I took your course a couple of years ago, and I would say a lot of the reason that I am where I am right now is because of what I learned from you. And when I say I want to amp it up, I'm already at a certain level, and I learned so much from you. And I still have in my calendar, I think it was every 3 months, it's like, check your bio, redo your bio. So
that's right. That's
right. You said put it in your calendar, and it always pops up, and I always want to look at it and say, what do I need to add or change? So there's a lot of things that I've learned from you that I've infiltrated into my life.
Well, thank you for that. And let me just say, there was a woman on my recent publicity course. She came out of corporate. She's a coach now. And when we got to the bio part, she goes, Jill, I thought I had a good bio. Oh my God, I hadn't looked at it in 10 years, she said. And you know, here's the thing, what I know, like when this book came out, Networking Magic, as much as I'd love to tell you that it had the right bio, the first issue of Networking Magic, this is actually the second edition, did not have the right bio. Oh my gosh, it had the bio from Guerrilla Publicity. From Guerrilla Publicity, I had actually gotten into Entrepreneur Magazine, Costco Magazine, the Wall Street Journal. None of that was reflecting in Networking Magic. Like, how embarrassing is that? I'll just tell you that, because guess what? We all have to learn. And that for me was such an important lesson about, and we'll be doing this in the course around bios, around checking it. We'll actually be writing your bio and reshaping your bio, because I know that most of you, frankly, need another look. If you don't have one already, you need another look at your bio. It's really key with fresh eyes. But really, most importantly, what I'm seeing, that I see can be really shifted with most people, is your message. We're going to start the day with your message. And your message in this time will probably have to shift. As much as I'll always do the guerrilla publicity message, particularly when I'm speaking for groups or somebody's mastermind or usually on a podcast. Actually, I'll tell you what I'm doing now is the message of kindness, because it is so needed, right? Because it is so needed. And so that's the right message for right now. So I would bet that some of you are not quite rocking your message, meaning there's might be some things in there that you could do just so much better, so much more expanded, so much more powerfully. And it just takes a little tweak. I recently had someone register for the course. He's a pretty high level guy. He said, you know what, Joel, if I learn one thing from you, it's worth everything, because I need tweaks. And I thought that was really a powerful way of looking at the world, is, you know, the tweaks, right? The tweaks are what our excellence is all about. That, I think, is really key, to keep being excellent no matter what's going on out in the world. What matters is your excellence appearing so that you can make a difference for others. And as you're more excellent at your message, at your reiteration of your creation of who you are, as you put out the right message for what's right now, and then thinking ahead, remember 3, 6, and 9 months, because we're planting our publicity garden, we're growing it, we're planning for the future, but also staying in the present of what you need to do right now. So I think that's really important. All right, let's see if there's any other questions or comments or anything I can support you with. Okay, wonderful. All right. So here's what I want to say. First of all, I'm grateful that you spent your time with me today. And that is just fantastic. I again want to remind you, come on in, publicitycrashcourse.com/registration. Code is Stay Visible, all lowercase, all one word. And it's only $197. And that, my friends, is my pandemic pricing. It's an opportunity to work with me in a way that's highly affordable and very effective to get your name out there, to create that visibility factor, and to get more people talking about you, because you deserve the powerful message of your message, and your gift is the gift to the world. You are a messenger, and I want to remind you that your message matters. Thank you for being here today. We'll see you in the webinar. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.